Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Gift of Gaming podcast. And that's right, we're approaching the end of November, so it's all about November's news. We're looking at Grand Theft Auto 6, possible God of War DLC, and the Time Splitters studio. Will it make it? All coming up. It's me as your host, Darren Wade on the Gift of Gaming podcast, and I'm joined by, once again, every month, the all-reliable anchor team, Luke, Mr. Xbox Games past himself. Maycock, Luke, how you keeping?
I'm doing great, Darren. Thanks for having me.
My absolute pleasure. And also, whose name I haven't introduced in a while, I'm totally going to mess this up. It's the console-hating, PC-playing, lore-seeking, full-time Canadian himself, Chris Robbins. Chris,
there
how you
you
keeping?
go. I'm doing well, Darren.
I need to write it down.
Once again, every month except last month because I wasn't around.
Yeah, you were going back to Canada to recharge your Canadian batteries.
Exactly. Pray to the great moose.
Before returning home.
Yeah.
So I guess to kick it off, I don't seeing how you guys are doing, but Luke, you just recently ordered a Steam OLED.
I did. I'm super excited. I got one of that. Yeah. I was like trying to justify the price in my head and everything like that. This is the OLED. We'll get into this in just a tick.
Yep.
But this is the one that was announced, what was it, a week before release? And I happened to be one of the people who saw this and I hadn't bought a Steam Deck. I'd look at the refurbished ones. They knocked maybe €60 off the price. It was kind of schmeh. And I saw Chris's one when he brought it in here and demoed it for us, and it was a gorgeous console. And then they brought out the OLEDs. It was like 100 and something off the release price. It was just like a special release offer. And saw that and was like, it's not. It's like the same price point. It's more expensive than buying like a PS5 or whatever. Yep. But then I thought, I've had Steam for like 12 years. Absolutely. I have over 200 games on Steam. Yeah, I will have no shortage of things to play on this thing when I get it. So yeah, I got it. Super excited. Just waiting for it to arrive now.
I'm a little. Oh, I'm very excited for you. A little jealous because I had just bought mine. Mine was an older, like the older model, not the OLED, but like I got it 20% off, so like €120 or something ridiculous. So I'm pretty content with what I spent. But yeah, there's a lot of people were actually kind of angry about this release.
So I was asking, like, does anybody have any items for the news or what you want? And you said, hey, let's talk about the Steam OLED. And I was like, it's just a new Steam with an OLED screen. And you were like, no. Yeah. People are pissed. And I went online and I was hitting up Reddit and having a look. And
well, that's how I know people were pissed. Like, I didn't read any like articles on it, but like Reddit was blown up. Like, how could they do this? Every other console company gives us at least 5 months for like the PS Pro or the Switch OLED. Didn't they do that to you?
Oh, the Switch OLED was like 2 years after the Switch came out. So
and like Steam only gives us 7 days. It was just like, oh, it was ready.
Yeah. See, and that's the kind of thing that I'm surprised that people were angry about, because when you said it, I was like, wow. And a week later, it was just there. Like, one of the things that I'm excited to get into when we're talking about Game Awards and all that kind of stuff is that, we could potentially have Capcom coming out and announcing Monster Hunter, and it'll be there 3 months later. Like, I haven't had to sit on this announcement for 2 years waiting for this thing arrive. And I kind of thought everyone would be excited about, hey, here's an OLED Steam a week later. No, Reddit was not keen on that, because lots of people, I guess, couldn't. Has it sold out?
I've no idea, to be honest. It didn't sell out. If it did sell out, it didn't sell out super quickly, because I had I told you guys before the podcast, I had a bit of nightmare buying it. And so I took a pause from trying to buy it and waited like an hour and then tried again. And it was still there. So I don't know, it didn't fly out the doors. But then, like you said, the people weren't made aware that there was going to be a new Switch OLED.
Yeah.
So a lot of people possibly just bought, or not Switch OLED, Steam Deck OLED. A lot of people had possibly just recently bought Steam Deck, so maybe the demand
wasn't
just
on sale.
Yeah.
They started doing the refurbished ones. I imagine like people didn't rush. Like, if they already had one, and most people that are super excited about these sort of things probably do have one at this point. So they're kind of like sitting around like weighing the pros and cons first before buying it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the funniest part too is like Steam Decks were impossible to get for the longest while because of scalpers.
Yeah.
Just like buy up all this stock.
They had crazy prices on the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah. Just because scalpers are scumbags. But now that they've released the OLED, like this, they probably have like storage units full of Steam Decks that they just can't get rid of now.
Yeah.
Of the new one.
And they've changed I was reading the article, they're only releasing now going forward, because I think there was 3 options in terms of storage for the Steam Deck. And then now they're only, I think it's the middle one, the 254 gig one is what they're saying is only going to be in production going forward. So like the heavy terabyte one or whatever, or the low memory one, they're not making them anymore, supposedly.
I think that might be for the old Steam Deck, because the OLED model has, so I think by the sounds of things, their strategy going forward is they're only releasing the 256 gigs for the initial Steam Deck, and then for the OLED Steam Deck, it's either the 512 gigs or the 1 terabyte model.
No.
I think those are your 3
Which that's actually one of the things I'm most jealous about, because I have the top tier model of the older one, but it's still only like the 512 gig, which you burn through that pretty quick these days.
Yeah. Absolutely. Especially when games are like 100 gigs a pop, it's like my Steam Deck holds 5 games. If even.
On a weird aside thing, I found I was looking at storage things. I also got the 512 one because that's the bottom tier for the OLED Steam Deck, and I was like, I'm not paying for the top tier. But I was looking at storage options, and there's 1 terabyte micro SD cards now. Just blew my mind. And micro SD card that's the size of your fingernail,
a terabyte,
has a terabyte.
We used to have PlayStation 1 or 2 memory cards that were 15 megabytes. And the thing was like, decent sized little cube thing that you'd stick in. 15 megabytes. But I think that's good that you guys have your Steam Decks. But I think all that pales in comparison.
Yeah, what did you get, Darren?
I got the PlayStation Portal. Finally arrived during the week. So, and I have to say, it isn't. I'll give a quick review on this for anybody who's interested. I think it's sold out. It's quite hard to get your hands on at the minute, supposedly, which I don't think Sony even expected. But yeah,
because why would they?
Why would they? Yeah, why would you? But I have to say, it has been such a joy to have this. It serves all of the needs that I have for gaming, and I think there are people like me, but I don't think it's the mainstream level of gamers. The PlayStation Portal does not. It is literally a screen with a PlayStation 5 controller attached to it, and it's got Wi-Fi for remote play. That's pretty much it. So it's specifically designed for your perfect remote play experience for PlayStation 5. In the lead up, I was trying to play it on my mobile phone and my Mac, and you need applications for that, and I guess through the applications you lose a little bit of latency, or you lose a little bit of even the screen is like slightly fuzzed and stuff when I was playing it on my Mac. My Mac's got a great screen or whatever, and I was like, it still doesn't look like it does on my TV when I play it my PS5. And the PlayStation Portal arrived, and I turned it on, connected it to the Wi-Fi, and started playing Final Fantasy VII Remake in bed, and I was like, this thing's incredible. This thing's incredible. And then it went on further in the reviews leading up to it. I realized that when people got their hands on it, they were able to say, hey, you can go to a coffee shop or anywhere that's got good Wi-Fi. Anything over 15 megabytes, you can connect to your PS5 and play.
That part shocked me. I did not think that was coming. That makes this actually much more valuable than I initially thought.
A reasonable thing as opposed to a giant waste of time. Yeah.
I'm wondering as well if a lot of the price maybe went towards it might have a really good network card, basically, because that's essentially what you're paying for, is a network card, a screen, and a controller.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a really, really shit hot network
people opened it up and took it apart, and they were like, the parts in this, I don't know about the network card, but they're like, even all the parts of this are like cost cutting, fairly lazy parts or old parts. Right. But I wonder, is that all to save things so they can put a damn good network card in there? Because like I said, I've played it, and on 2 occasions in all my time playing it, and I've played it for hours now, and 2 times I had connection issues. Yep. So there was one time where I had to just disconnect the Portal and reconnect it to stop the lag that was happening in the game, and then it ran perfectly. And then another time I was playing and
turn it off, turn it back on.
Yeah, classic IT fix, baby. And then there was a second occasion where the music was just clipping out just slightly, for about 5 minutes every now and again. The music would just disappear for a split second and come back on, and I was like, okay, but 5 minutes after playing that just disappeared. And otherwise it's been absolutely perfect. Downsides to this thing is it's got no web browser built in. So if you were to go to, and we don't suffer this problem, I think, as much as maybe the States or something like that would, where you have to go to a place and sign in as a guest to their Wi-Fi, create an account to use the Wi-Fi.
Third-party launcher.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Won't be able to connect to any of them because it's got no web browser, so it won't be able to access that. It's not. I mean, most places where I've gone, I've connected to Wi-Fi. The airport is the place where I think that's going to be an issue, but I can't think of a coffee shop I've gone to recently where it's like, sign in as a guest. That was a long time ago,
Your PS5 can do that?
No, can't do the security protocol handshake. It can't do the
But like your
put in a
PS5
password.
can do
Oh, sorry.
the whole browser thing for like isn't this just a mirror of your PS5? Isn't that
It
how
is,
works?
but I have to connect to a network on this. So the PS5 is connected to my home network in the apartment. That's great. And then I have to connect this to a separate Wi-Fi connection if I'm out and about. But when you're going onto Wi-Fi and you connect to, let's say I'm in an Insomnia cafe and you have to sign in as a guest to their thing before, and they'll give you an hour's worth of Wi-Fi.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
It
Okay.
won't
I
launch a web browser to do that.
Oh, okay, I thought you were like, because on Steam, a lot of the time when you like play a game that was like Civ you have the Steam launcher, then you go to launch Civ, it'll launch the other like Origin launcher.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you're talking about when you launch a game, like another like browser.
No, this is purely just a Wi-Fi issue. And then on top of that, and I think this will be a thing that will be updated.
So airport, you're fucked.
Airport, I'm fucked. But that's the thing as well. Like if I'm traveling on a plane, I'm fucked. Do you know what I mean? Which is some of my favorite times to play my Switch or my PlayStation Portable back in the day. I could bring that on, no problem with my UMDs. So that's where this thing kind of falls a little bit short. And on top of that, then no Bluetooth.
My Steam Deck was
Yet.
amazing on the plane back to Canada.
I'm sure it
Dead
was.
Cells, baby.
Yeah.
But no, so I think they've got this proprietary technology called PlayStation Link, and they've built specific headphones that you can link to this thing through this PlayStation Link. And I think that's my hope is that's a thing to sell lots of this new technology. But much like the Switch did, where it was like, oh, we actually had an on switch for Bluetooth. And I think they'll probably do that with this thing as well.
Did you hear about this when it happened, Chris? It was a thing maybe a year or two back where Nintendo just came out and was like, "Oh, your Switch can connect Bluetooth devices now," and everyone was like, "What? What do you mean it can do it now?" What? Like, yeah, we released a firmware update to turn on the Bluetooth in your Switches, and everyone was like, "There was Bluetooth on the Switch the whole time. You just didn't turn it on."
Yeah,
it was years into the cycle before they were like, "Yeah, we'll turn this on now."
It was a good 4 or 5 years before they turned the Switch then on. Yeah,
What the fuck?
It was a wild
I'd
story.
be so pissed.
Yeah. I was like, "What? Someone going to come to my house and like attach a part to my Switch?" It's like, no. We've always had the capability.
So hopefully that's the case with the Portal, and there is a Bluetooth capability that they will turn on eventually when they don't shift enough of their proprietary.
Absolutely.
headsets.
But I'm excited because at Christmas time I can go home to my fam, when I spend a few days over there, and just bring the PlayStation Portal and play my PS5 and perfect. Just it's going to be amazing. I won't have to. Yeah, it's going to be great. It's not for everybody. It's kind of niche. It's very niche. But as a guy who invested in Stadia, I love the wacky shit.
Yeah, that's true.
I love the wacky shit that might not work. But this thing's been amazing for me so far. But I guess we need to get on with our news episode, fellas. But before I get in there, we've got some podcast announcements. And the first one is that we've got the Game Awards is happening next week. Woo-woo. Game Awards 2023. So our usual episodes are usually released on Thursday. The Game Awards is actually on next Thursday. So we'll be having a little viewing party and we'll be recording them our Game Awards episode that weekend. So next week will be a little bit delayed for receiving the episode. And just a reminder to everybody as well, if you haven't already and you love the content, there'll be extra news episodes on our post show today on Patreon. Go to patreon.com/to-gift the gaming. The price of a coffee a month, you can get loads of extra content, including our Battle Royale series that is entering its quarterfinals now at this stage. It's very exciting. But I guess we'll start off with the first bit of news, and this is that a God of War DLC is to be announced this year. This is from Insider Gaming by Tom Henderson, came out November 1st. And it goes like this. A new report has claimed that God of War Ragnarok DLC will be announced later this year, possibly at the Game Awards. The news comes courtesy of Spanish outlet Area Jugones, which has previously reported on accurate leaks in the past. According to the outlet, the news comes from, quote, sources close to Sony that claim that the DLC could come as its own standalone game, somewhat similar to Spider-Man Miles Morales. The report outlines that its sources are unclear on how the DLC will be announced, but theorize that all signs point to an announcement at this year's Game Awards. The Game Awards will be live on December 7th, 2023, and generally does feature several major announcements and reveals from the industry. Rumours of a DLC for God of War Ragnarok have been rampant these past few months, and now with Area Jugones claims, it does add weight to these rumours. Insider Gaming has reached out to its sources for information and has asked Sony for official comments in regards to the report. God of War Ragnarok received universal acclaim on its release and as of September 2023 has sold 11 million units. Sony is yet to officially announce any spin-off game or DLC for God of War Ragnarok. My question about you guys is, the part that I find interesting is that they reckon it could be released as a standalone game somewhat to Miles Morales.
Yeah, I have lots of questions about that. Like, what does that mean? DLC standalone game.
So like Miles Morales was essentially a game onto itself, like a long-ish game. I think it had a good couple hours in it, but it was released as a separate. Like it wasn't just like, hey, open up your Spider-Man 2020, whatever the year that Spider-Man came out, and then click on DLC and open the new bit, or like go to your world map on Spider-Man and go to the DLC location. It was like, no, the Miles Morales is DLC, quote unquote, for Spider-Man, but it's you go onto the store and you buy it as a separate unit altogether, but it's still considered DLC for Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I was trying.
That sounds predatory. I don't know. That's sketchy. Like, in order to play this new game, you have to buy this older game.
Yeah, can you buy Miles Morales standalone? You can't do Miles Morales.
You can buy Miles Morales as a standalone game. I'm fairly sure.
Okay,
so
let me
it's not
confirm.
even DLC.
DLC, technically speaking. Yeah.
It's like it sounds like maybe narratively it ties in really tightly with the original game, so that if you play it out of the context of the original game, it might be weird. And to that end, maybe it's a DLC, but I think it's for 40 quid, its own thing. It's a weird idea. It's kind of like, it reminds me a little bit about, do you ever play Halo 3 ODST?
Yeah.
Where it was like, it was technically a new Halo game.
But you were playing as the soldiers on the sidelines. And
Yeah.
like Master Chief would sprint by.
Yeah, exactly. It was this, yeah, you were these tiny soldiers. And
Orbital drop something.
Shock Troopers.
Shock Troopers, yeah. Is that it?
Yeah, Orbital Drop Shock Troopers.
I can't see anything online that says that you can't, like, I mean, apparently I can just play Miles Morales as a little small game, but it's still considered
weird.
But I mean, downloadable content means you just download extra content for a game that already exists. So I don't know how you could consider that being called DLC.
Yeah, if you don't need the original game to boot you don't need the original game as a framework for which to launch the DLC, then is it DLC?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Asking the big
I also come
questions
from
here.
a time where it wasn't even considered DLC. It was called expansion packs.
Yeah.
The Diablo
Yeah.
2 expansion pack. or
Yeah.
whatever.
I think they still call it like that. I mean, I'm kind of excited. I loved God of War Ragnarok. I thought it was amazing. But I've never gone back to like play it on hard and do the extra little bits and pieces and unlock all the extra boss fights and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's something that's lost on me. But cool. I mean, cool if it's DLC. Like God of War was a great game.
The single serve and story games are tough to go back and just do it all again.
Yeah, in time for a DLC. Yeah. With the exception of Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I am just gushing over right now, with the PlayStation Portal, might I add. Yeah, interesting. I think it'll probably be a game. Like, I mean, I think we need to write these down, like the list of what we expect to be announced at the Game Awards, like a little bingo card to see what announcements we'll get. And I'd say this will probably be, it looks like it'll definitely be one of them. One that I think will definitely be announced at the Game Awards, they'd be mad not to, is the GTA 6 trailer has been confirmed for December. This comes from IGN from November 8th by Ryan Dinsdale. So Rockstar Games has announced it will finally debut its highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 reveal trailer in December 2023.
Why are we announcing teasers for teaser trailers now?
It's Grand Theft Auto 6.
What happened to the days where they just dropped the bomb and we got to see it, like not even know it was coming?
Well, they didn't. That's the thing. They didn't. They said December. They didn't say the Game Awards. So we're gonna be watching the Game Awards, being like, "Is this GTA 6? Is this GTA 6?"
Yeah, just to get the hype going, you know. So revealed on a post on Rockstar Newswire, the developer confirmed rumors from earlier in November that it would share a first official look at the game next month. Rockstar didn't share a full reveal for the game as was expected, but did say it was, quote, very excited to finally debut GTA 6. The quote continues, "We're very excited to let you know that in early December, we will release the first trailer for the next Grand Theft Auto. We look forward to many more years of sharing these experiences with all of you." The post began by indicating the 25th anniversary of Rockstar would arrive next month as well, meaning the GTA 6 trailer will perhaps debut on the same day. That being said, only the vague December 1998 window exists for its foundation date, as the studio was only announced on January 22nd the following year. The Game Awards will take place on December 7th, though, making that another possibility for the trailer reveal. Rockstar hasn't confirmed it will appear at the award show, but given it's usually packed with new trailers and announcements from the biggest developers, GTA 6's appearance wouldn't be out of place. Quote, "Thanks to the incredible support of our players worldwide, we have had the opportunity to create games we are truly passionate about. Without you, none of this would be possible, and we're so grateful to all of you for sharing this journey with us," Rockstar added. GTA 6 has been rumored ever since the release of Grand Theft Auto 5 just over a decade ago. It was reported on loosely in a 2020 Kotaku report about Rockstar's efforts to alleviate crunch culture at the studio, and was confirmed in a press release back in 2022, with the studio saying the development was, quote, well underway. Later that year, in development, footage of the game was leaked in a massive breach, with authorities eventually arresting a British teenage hacker in conjunction with the incident. Are either of you excited for GTA 6?
I'm super excited for GTA 6. GTA 5 was a banger game. It was the base game, like throwing aside all the online shit, which is in its own right really impressive. GTA 5 was an absolute banger game. Like it it ran great on everything. It came out on PS3.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out on PS3.
It's currently been released on 3 separate generations worth of consoles. That's how long we've had GTA 5.
And we were
It's
only
amazing.
I think it was it me, you, was the three of us, or was me, you, and Craig were kind of gushing recently about the in-game kind of transfer system where you could map hop to another character at any one time.
Yeah, we were. I think it was because we were discussing that patent that Nintendo tried to pull on the
That's
Zelda
right.
loading screen, where it
Yeah,
would
we
move
were
across the
talking
map. But yeah, the fact that, and like Spider-Man did it recently enough as well, where you clip between, or it looks like in Spider-Man 2, I should say, you can clip between Spider-Man and Miles, or Peter Parker and Miles Morales, and they're both doing something somewhere in the city. Not to the extent that you had in GTA 5, though, where you could click to, you know, any of them. They could be in their house. Like Michael could be in the house just reading the newspaper or whatever else. But then you clip over to one of the other guys and he's riding a motorbike and you just
Trevor
take
passing
control.
on a bridge or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
drunk. Yeah, some of the stuff, all the flavor stuff that they baked in was great. The story was absolutely wild, like hog wild. It was just a really, it's strange to say, I feel like GTA 5 in terms of praise gets a little overlooked for what it did get right, given that it was just such a successful money printing behemoth.
Yeah.
Like it was one of the, it like smashed sales figures in the gaming industry the year it was released, and kind of set a weird benchmark for the things that games can achieve over films, where it was like in its first year it was like 5 billion sold, and it's like, wait, 5 billion and it's 1 year and people are going to keep buying this game.
Yeah.
So I think that started to turn a lot of people's heads towards game industry, and maybe could be a part of the reason why we have big movie franchises based off of games now. And
Do you think GTA 6 will struggle in, I mean, it's been 10 years worth of, I guess, the kind of growth of, you know, GTA is always put on the edge of like, you know, what's appropriate or what's not appropriate. 10 years on, do you think GTA 6 will suffer from the political correctness question?
oh yeah, that's a
Do
great
they?
idea.
Do I think they've gotten woke? No.
Rockstar?
Simple answer, no.
I think if there was a game to like kind of lash back at that,
It would be
trend,
Grand Theft Auto for sure.
It might be Grand Theft Auto, but then again, like they got slammed really hard in the crunch culture discussions over the stuff they were making people do in GTA 5 and
Red Dead Redemption 2, yeah.
2, yeah.
Actually, I don't know. I could see GTA throwing in like some like trans main characters, but making them as offensive as possible too. Just so like, yes,
That'd be
now
sick.
everyone's happy.
That'd be sick.
That would be great. Did you guys see any of the leaks?
No.
No.
The leaks looked fairly impressive. There was a leak, and it was definitely on a developer screen, because I had, it's like, you know, I don't know anything about games development, so bear with me here, but I had like the X and Y axis and stuff on the screen for like, I guess, locations and stuff, and but they had a scene where the main character, I think there's 2 characters you play as, a male and female, with a female character robbing a store, but robbing a store is a whole process, like back it was in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. You could go in, hold up a store, get the money until the cops arrive and leave. It looks like they've really expanded on that, but the game looked quite impressive, and these were just like leaks from, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, that only came out this year, where that British teenager got arrested. Damn, imagine that.
Wait, what happened? The British teenager got arrested?
Yeah, at the end of the thing, so back to the article, later that year in 2022, in development footage of the game was leaked in a massive breach, with authorities eventually arresting a British teenage hacker in conjunction with the incident.
Whoa, okay.
But yeah, I mean, you can imagine Rockstar holding, like, people waiting a decade for Grand Theft Auto 6, and they're like, you know, 9-10 months out from their announcement, and someone goes,
Well, this kid was probably waiting the most impatiently of all of them. He said, "Where's my Grand Theft Auto?
I'll find
I'm
it
gonna
myself.
learn how to hack just to get to the
Get a game.
computers."
I'm
Yeah.
so done with this. Yeah, so interesting. There's Grand Theft Auto 6. I think early December. I think they'd be mad not to put it in the Game Awards with the audience that would have. I mean, you release it yourself, it's still going to be viewed. But with the amount of people who are into gaming who also watch the Game Awards and the live thing, the whole showbiz side of it, I think they'd be mad not to include it as an item on it.
I think so too. I'm chuffed for it. I'm excited. I can't wait to see. And I don't know, when the trailer comes on, I've no idea what it's going to look like. Like, is it going to be hyper real?
It looks, from the leaks, it looked like, again, better than GTA 5. Not a whole lot, but we're talking about old leaks, so...
What they show you and what you end up with are usually different stories.
Cyberpunk.
No, they're all like that. Even the Souls series was pretty notorious for that.
Yeah, and I think it'll be interesting to see in terms of like hyper realistic. But I think it's based in Vice City. I think they're going back to Vice City, but it's in modern day.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So the islands and stuff like that. The map as well, I think, was reportedly leaked, and people said the map looks gigantic, like could be the biggest open world GTA as well. So yeah, all there.
Very cool.
This next article is one that makes me sad. Luke, you me as big Time Splitters fans over the years.
Yeah.
So the revived Time Splitters studio could close. This is coming from the Video Game Chronicles from November 8th by Andy Robinson. Embracer's Time Splitters studio Free Radical faces closure. The UK-based developer was re-established just 2 years ago to revive the classic first-person shooter series. Time Splitters developer Free Radical Design is at threat of being closed by owner Embracer Group just 2 years after it was re-established, sources have told VGC. For the past 6 months, Embracer has been carrying out a restructuring program which has already seen some game studios close and some projects cancelled. This includes the closures of studios like Saints Row developer Volition and Campfire Cable, while others have reportedly been put up for sale, such as Borderlands maker Gearbox. According to people close to the Free Radical Design in Nottingham, the UK-based studio has been part of an evaluation, and employees have now been notified that it could close. As required by UK employment law, PlayOn, the Embracer division which runs Free Radical, must consult employees for a minimum of 30 days before making any redundancies, including exploring ways of avoiding them. There remains a possibility that the studio could remain open then, should Embracer receive interest from third parties interested in acquiring it. However, VGC analysis of LinkedIn and social media shows that within the last 24 hours of the announcement, at least 15 people employed at Free Radical have already published posts saying they're looking for work. That includes a lead game designer, senior artist, senior technical artist, game designer, and the studio's IT manager. Neither Free Radical, PlayOn, nor Embracer responded to requests for comment in time to be included in this story. Embracer's next earnings release is due next week. It's not yet clear what the closure would mean for the future of Time Splitters, the classic first-person shooter series that the new Free Radical was re-established to revive. It kind of goes on to say what Free Radical used to be in terms of like its growth since 2008, in terms of the different names of the actual studio names and that. But Luke, our hopes of a Time Splitters comeback could be cut short.
Yeah, rip. That sucks. They were a really cool studio. They were an offshoot. They were like a splinter offshoot of Rare after Rare did GoldenEye. And the guys who were like chiefly responsible for GoldenEye were like, we don't like the direction. We don't want to do a 3D platformer now, or we don't want to do whatever, because Rare dipped their hands in everything. They had so much talent in that studio. And this was one of the splinter groups that took that and kind of broke off and were like, we're going to do our own thing. And that's why Time Splitters like has a lot of similarities to GoldenEye. It's kind of like a PS2 version of what GoldenEye was in the N64, where like even the aiming, the menus,
It all feels similar, yeah.
It all feels like really, really like GoldenEye. Yeah, it was such a fun game. Like really cool, fun, goofy tone, scary at times. A lot of charm went into it, and that's sad. I was reading a bit of their history just there as well. They got acquired by Crytek. Yeah, back in 2009.
They rebranded and worked on the Crisis series, Warface, and Rise. And in 2014, it was acquired by Deep Silver and became Dambuster Studios. And in 2006, it released Homefront Revolution, and earlier this year, Dead Island 2. Until now it looks like it could be closing.
Dead Island 2, jeez.
It's such a disappointment for me as well, because I look at, I've been playing a bit of Call of Duty recently, and you look at the likes of Apex and Overwatch, which are all very kind of competitive based. And I'm sure, the way the world is now in online gaming, I'm sure a new Time Splitters, if it was fully online, would have a competitive aspect to it. But I loved just the fun that was the multiplayer in that game. Yeah. Like, it wasn't like I'm going on for ranked play and whatever else. It was like, I'm going to put myself in the jungle map and fight off 14 monkeys on hard mode. Yeah. And with a double barrel shotgun, and just like set up all these scenarios that were just lots of fun to play. And I was really looking forward to a first person shooter commit and doing that, and not having the pressures of like, okay, we're going to have rank play and battle passes and season passes and all that type of stuff. I was hoping we just get like a Time Splitters 4, and it's in the same vein as 1, 2, and 3.
One of the sorry, Chris. Yeah,
I think single player FPS experiences are dead. I don't think we'll see them come back. I think they have to put in multiplayer and really focus on making that multiplayer good in order to be successful.
Yeah.
I think so. That's the landscape now. And it's sad because what I was going to say was that sort of the way they approach the game, they did just think about the gameplay experience through and through. Like there was like versions of what in future games would be called horde mode, where you have waves of enemies and stuff like that. They had specific challenges around the different maps.
But even like the horde mode and stuff, they would still have a multiplayer. Like COD did that with zombies, but it was still, you'd want to play with multiple people. Like it wasn't necessarily PvP, but it was definitely multiplayer.
I suppose Time Splitters 2 is probably the one that me, Darren, you and me are both like
most familiar with.
Most relate with. This predated there being like online gaming as well. So it was literally just like get a multi-tap.
And it was so fun as well.
The
The concept was that you had these, these two people, like the guy and the girl, I can't remember what their names were, and they had to go through this portal to save different times in history, to save the modern day thing from there being like a big world-ending event. So they went through this portal to go back to all these different timelines and these different places in the world to go and solve the problem. But it was great because you went to like kind of like medieval Britain, and you were in like the jungles in the I suppose the late 80s, early 90s for like the Indiana Jones style adventure and stuff like that. So it was quite, and just the character of it was great. I loved how it looked. It was just a really kind of easy to play, easy to look at kind of game, and I was really excited for the idea of there being a new Time Splitters, but there's a but. There's a but there now. On to happier news, because we're all Pokemon lovers here. Pokemon Concierge was announced. This comes from The Verge on November 14th by Charles Pulliam Moore. Netflix's new stop-motion Pokemon series from Dwarf Animation Studio.
Stop motion.
Looks adorable and relaxing as hell. I think we should probably even pause the podcast so you can watch this trailer, Chris, after we go to the news, this article, because it looks amazing. So almost everything about the world of Pokemon revolves around humans and their magical monster buds fighting to near death for fame and glory. But the first trailer for Netflix's upcoming Pokemon Concierge series from Dwarf Animation Studio is a reminder that in order to succeed in battle, one must also take time to relax. Set on a tropical island where Pokemon travel for some much-needed downtime, Pokemon Concierge tells the story of Haru, voiced by Karen Fukuhara, a young woman working at a resort that caters to the specific desires of its many Pokemon guests. As new hires, there's a lot about tending to the needs of battle-hardened Pokemon that Haru and her partner Psyduck have to learn.
Oh, this already sounds like there's going to be... what's that game you love? Animal Crossing, like sort of Pokemon
Vibes.
type game.
Yeah. What is it? It's a TV series.
Yeah, and it looks super fucking wholesome. People in work were going absolutely nuts for this. It's just, it looks purely like...
Oh my God, it looks
I'm
fantastic.
showing Chris it on my phone. Yeah, it's pure stop motion. It feels like, I described it to a friend recently, pure slice of life. It's a person working in a hotel resort, and there kind of just happen to be Pokemon there.
Yeah.
And this is a Netflix original?
Yeah.
How'd they score Pokemon? That's crazy.
Yeah. Whole thing. Well, I don't know if it's being released episodically or entirely, but its release date's December 28th, and I'm looking forward to like my post-Christmas fatty me still like chowing down on leftovers, watching some Pokemon Concierge. But to finish the article, but as tricky as it can be figuring out what Pokemon want, the trailer makes it seem as if Haru's biggest challenge might be figuring out how to get along with co-workers Elisa and Tyler, voiced by Imani Hakim and Josh Keaton. The trailer also shows off quite a few of the various monsters set to appear in Pokemon Concierge. It makes clear that the show's vibes are going to be as immaculate as its art's direction is adorable. What really jumps out, though, is how we're probably going to have Pokemon Concierge's theme song, Have a Good Time Here, by Mariara Takaguchi, stuck in our heads when the show hits Netflix on December 28th. This was announced, like, I think I was just on my YouTube homepage and saw, like, the algorithm put it up, and I was like, what the hell is this? And watched it, and I said, what a time to come out as well, like the end of the holiday season or just before New Year's and stuff like that. People will have some time off, relaxing, chilling. And it looks to be a lot of the older generation of Pokemon in the trailer, as far as I can see as well, which is a lot more relatable to me. And I was looking at this being like, I can't wait to sit down and just,
December 28th. That's when I get back here too.
Nice. Yeah, that's, I think, funny that you said, like, it's the older generation of Pokemon. I think their demographic might be us, like, or it might be people who, like, have really fond memories of Pokemon from when we were kids. And now we're so stressed out and we just need to chill out.
Yeah, I need to relax. Like, yeah. But it looks great. And I think they've definitely latched on to, I think people loved Psyduck in... Detective Pikachu.
I noticed that. It seems like they're pushing Psyduck again.
He's like the main guy.
Yeah, that's because he's just a big dopey fuck, and he's hilarious.
who has the potential to destroy everything around him at any given time as well. Like, but interesting because like Psyduck was a character who I disliked quite a lot in the original anime TV show. Like, Misty had Psyduck and she was always giving out about him. I was like, fuck
and
this Pokemon.
He was just escaping from his Pokeball.
Yeah.
All the time.
Cause
I
and
fucking loved
he didn't do a whole lot for me, but since Detective Pikachu, I was like, this guy is hilarious. And then seeing him being like Ash's equivalent, the Pikachu equivalent for Ash for the girl in this one, I was like, this could be a lot of fun. Like,
Let me be the first person in the universe to say this sentence: Psyduck for Smash. Psyduck for the next Smash Brothers.
Could you imagine? Yeah. First character announcement. Will Pokemon ever end?
I
No.
saw an article
Why would
the
it?
other day. Like the guy plans on Pokemon going for another 100 years or something.
100 years.
Providing the planet does, like,
Yeah.
you know.
100 years. 100 years Pokemon.
Yeah.
I mean, I can. It makes them enough money. I can see why they'd want to keep going
prints
for 100
money.
years. Yeah.
I mean,
It's-
it's like I don't know. I've been
beloved.
saying this for years that they're running out of ideas once they started introducing like ice cream cones and like chandeliers and shit. But they seem to keep going strong. But at some point, like I don't know. There's only so many Pokemon you can create.
To me, I would say that the series has enough Pokemon. I would like if you're coming up with new games, come up with new stories. Like focus a little bit more on the narrative side of things, and then curate a good collection of 300-400 Pokemon into a game. Like you don't need any more. There's over 1,000 now.
400, yeah.
There's over 1,000 now. Like, do you know what I mean? They don't need, but I think there's over 1,000, and I'm sure like. I mean, I'm old school. I'm all about that original OG 151, you know. But like over those 1,000, we don't need all of them in any Pokemon game. There's loads of fucking dud Pokemon, man. Loads of really, like as you said, like you know, Treemon, Ice Cream Cone Man. They don't need them in the game. But yeah, I guess Pokemon's this thing that's just gonna last forever.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Prints money, people. It's still beloved, even though it definitely garners a lot of haters every new generation. It's still beloved. They got a formula that's still working, still selling copies.
Yeah, I would just prefer if the next Pokemon game. I mean, because like that, I can't remember what was the last one called.
Violet and Scarlet.
Violet and Scarlet looked so bad.
Dicey.
It
Yeah.
looks so bad, and it's like you guys. I know your video game studio is small, but they're not short on cash. Do you know what I mean? The Pokemon company is not strapped for cash to put into like you know make, and especially you know that's what I'd love to see. Switch 2 gets announced with like the new Pokemon, you know, Silver Moon, Gold Star, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like you know. But like looks great. No new Pokemon, but like we've pulled lots from what exists so far. But here's a really cool storyline, you know. Here's a Detective Pikachu-esque kind of storyline that everybody loves watching start to finish, and go from there because that last one was a real pocket filler by them. I felt, you know.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the ROM hacked Pokemon games?
Yeah, yeah.
Like the Pokemon Rocket, where you play as Team Rocket, and like if you beat a trainer, you get to steal one of his Pokemon and shit.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny.
That'd be great,
and, like,
actually.
yeah, every now and then you'll randomly run into like iconic trainers. Like you could run into Red, and he'll actually just like wipe the floor with you. Like you have no chance against him.
And this is just like a fan created.
Yeah. There's
Yep.
hundreds of
I
them.
think this one is in the style of the early DS games.
Cool.
But there's a ton of them out there. There's so many.
There's one Pokemon Unbound where
Is that the fusion one?
No, that's not the fusion one. The fusion one's hilarious.
The fusion one's crazy.
You know the
That you combine any two Pokemon to create it.
It's that, but it's actually a full Pokemon game based around it. It's amazing. Unbound is like you start off locked up in this cell by the bad guys, and when you're sneaking out, you pass like the boss of the organization, and he's like giving out to one of his grunts. And I was like, how did you let the prisoners escape? Blah, blah, blah. And he goes, Houndoom, incinerate him. And Houndoom turns around and burns the guy to death. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, it's edgy.
Pokemon.
It's got Harry Potter Goblet of Fire vibes about the opening.
Exactly. There's lots.
I love that. I mean, great they exist. You know, fan made stuff's amazing or whatever else. But yeah, I think you guys have got so much money. Go out there and make a really, really, really good Pokemon game, and don't give us another 150 BS shiny Pokemon that no one cares about. Just throw in the good ones and give us a good game. That'd be that's my tip for Game Freak. I almost forgot who did it there. I think this is the last. Yeah, this is our last news episode. Our last news item for the episode. This is a Mass Effect probably due in 2029. This is coming from The Gamer, November 9th by James Troughton. So according to reputable insider Jeff Grubb, the next Mass Effect, which just got a new teaser 2 days ago, won't launch until at least 2029. I don't know about you lot, but I'll be a year shy of 30 by then. I was 16 when Andromeda came out. James is a young dude, okay?
Yeah, Jesus.
Fuck you, James.
Might be a year shy of 40. I don't know.
Yeah, God, I will be 40.
Okay, well, we all don't like James now.
Yeah, fuck him.
To quote James, the trailer is a small teaser of a person in a cool outfit walking down a hallway, that's it. Oh, sorry, this is what Grubb said on the Game Mess mornings. The game is nowhere near coming out. So just so we know, what the teaser they're talking about is that on November 7th, N7, it's like Mass Effect Day, everyone's always waiting for the next big thing, and they brought out a teaser trailer that's about 10 seconds long of some person in kind of very futuristic looking N7 gear just walking down a corridor and looking back with a full helmet on, and that was it. That's all you got,
Oh, okay.
So this game is nowhere near coming out. When they revealed Dragon Age Dreadwolf in 2018, this is similar in terms of timeline. We're not getting that game until maybe next year. So now do the math for that, and we're talking 2029 for Mass Effect 5. If Grubb is right, that means there will be a 6-year gap between this teaser and the game launching. But it isn't the first teaser. In 2020, during the Game Awards, BioWare announced the next Mass Effect with an accompanying trailer. Rather than someone walking and flaunting a cool new coat, we got a panning camera shot that took us through the galaxy before landing on a snowy planet where Hans, seemingly belonging to the character Liara, reached out and grabbed a buried helmet. So it could be as long as a 9-year wait between announcement and release. It's a familiar story at this point. The first teaser for Cyberpunk 2077 was released in 2013 before The Witcher 3 had even come out, but the game didn't launch until 2020, 7 years later. Then we have The Elder Scrolls 6, which got a teaser in 2018. 5 years later, it only just entered development. The new teaser makes reference to Andromeda with a distress signal detected quote. It also began as a countdown for Mass Effect Epsilon, which is the 5th letter of the Greek alphabet. The new poster even teased the return of the Geth, which brings up a myriad of questions about which ending to the third game is canon. There are lots of new mysteries, but it might be best to shelve them for now as the wait for answers is going to take a while. My question to you guys is, do they stop announcing shit years before it's ever going to see the light of day?
Well, this is kind of ties back into Chris's complaint at the start of the podcast about them announcing a teaser trailer for a game.
For why we're announcing a teaser for a teaser trailer for a game that might not get next year.
Games take a really
6 years
long
down the
time.
road too. It might not even have the same it'll go through so many different creative processes and new hardware could come out by then, and they'd have to scrap the whole project. This seems ridiculous. I'm not holding out hope.
We're getting it anytime soon. Interesting enough, and this is where I would kind of say that this is going back to the article about the Time Splitters one. VGC went on to talk about the companies that had been impacted by layoffs. So if you go, job losses across the games industry have been widespread in 2023. Companies impacted by layoffs this year include Xbox Game Studio, Epic Games, Sony Interactive Entertainment, CD Projekt, Unity, Riot Games, Blizzard, Crystal Dynamics, BioWare, Striking Distance, Team 17, Frontier Developments, and Telltale Games. With everything so volatile, surely you should just say, hey, we're making this game to yourselves, go out and quietly make the game, and not put yourselves in a position where 7 years later people are like, where the fuck is Mass Effect?
I think my gut check as to why studios do this is has to do with how money flows around inside the industry. So I think a part of it is just validating their existence, being like, hey, here's a big project, we're working on it, a lot of people are going to watch this trailer and they're going to be really hype, and on that basis they can get investors.
I think it's an investor thing.
Yeah, I think purely to justify their existence, stay relevant in the sphere, prove to their investors that they have a product that, one, they're working on, two, people will buy when it comes out. That's and that's why that's why Cyberpunk's first teaser came out 6-7 years before it released. You do have the flip side of that, where by releasing the trailers, you can delve into exactly what Cyberpunk did, which is over-promising, under-delivering when it comes out, and that just is bad beans for the industry at large.
This is why I love the indie game industry.
Yeah, man.
Because there's none of this fucking bullshit. It's just a small team of people that are trying to make the absolute best game because that's all they got. They have no investment. They just have to make a game that you are going to love.
Yeah.
It's their whole driven motivation.
And they might keep you up to date on Twitter during their production things on, for the 2 years they're making it, but they're not going to announce it in 2017 and it's 2025 and you're like, unless it's Fez.
Well, yeah. Some of them, they kind of push it too much, and some of them have a bit too much clout, like fame. Because Concerned Ape, he and I still have absolute faith that his next game is going to be a banger. So I hope he takes as much time as possible. But he announced Haunted Chocolatier or something.
Oh, the Stardew Valley DLC or something, wasn't it?
No, it's a whole new game. But
okay.
he announced it years and years and years ago, and he's still actively working on that while maintaining Stardew Valley, still updating Stardew Valley.
And he's still a one-man.
He's still a one-man squad.
See, I forgive that because it's no, you're one dude. It's not like EA or BioWare, team with 7 years being where the fuck, you've got hundreds of people doing this. What's going on? Whereas this Concerned Ape dude's I'll get there when I get there.
Concerned Ape's probably just composing his music while he's coding at the same time.
True. Yeah, again, he's also he has to play a version of that game where he's justifying his existence, and he's letting people know, working on the game it's at this stage, it's coming soon. Please keep it in your mind. Please stay excited about it. Keep the hype up there so that when it gets to pre-release, you can have as many people wishlisted as possible. You can have as many pre-orders as possible, and because he has bills to pay, and Stardew Valley.
Oh, I don't think he has to worry about paying.
Yeah, Stardew Valley.
He's a one-man team that made Stardew Valley. That dude is set for life.
Yeah, that game has sold so well.
I'm still buying. I bought it for my girlfriend yesterday, just like, so I can play through it again with her. Like, it's just a masterpiece.
Yeah,
yeah,
a cool game.
I love it. I love it so much. So I don't know if you guys are Mass Effect fans or played through the series.
I played 1 and 2.
Nah,
yeah.
I tried to play 1. I got soft locked at a boss fight, and I was like, "No, I'm done."
And one's kind of janky now at this stage. I think if you were ever to go back, the Legacy edition or something like that is now you can buy it, which is the 1, 2, and 3. And I bought it and played through like the first 2-3 hours of 1. I was like, I mean, the story is great, but the game is a bit janky. So I did 2 and 3. Fantastic games. Andromeda came out, which was the only game I have ever considered, and I bought the physical edition when I was living in New Zealand, and I got really excited, took the day off work. I was like, the next Mass Effect game. And I went out, bought it, came back, stuck it in, played it for about 4 hours. And it's the only game I've ever to this day considered ejecting the disc from the console and breaking it over my knee.
You've never broken a disc?
I've never broken a disc.
Okay.
I came close to Andromeda. I came close to breaking the disc for Andromeda.
It's a little dissatisfying because you think it's going to snap, but some of them just like bend awkwardly, and you're just like, oh god, I can't even break the game properly. Like, I don't feel better about this.
I can't do anything right.
I just sold it back to them and lost like 40 quid or whatever else on Andromeda. But like Mass Effect is, I've talked to this a bit with the guys before. The lore in Mass Effect is as a universe, the galaxies and everything it's created, and the races and everything. There's so much there to work with, and the fact that it has been Andromeda is the only thing we've gotten in the last 12 years, maybe. I can't remember when the Mass Effect 3 came out. 10 years ago, maybe, is all we've had, is Andromeda, which was a crap, shitty EA version of a game that wasn't worth its weight at all. And I'm like, 2029, if that is true, for like a new Mass Effect, it's too long. It's way too long. The last game that was worth playing by the time Andromeda comes out could be 19 years. In between games. Kingdom Hearts came close to taking that long, but like 19 years between two viable games in a series is just way too long. I think the series is probably dead.
Yep, probably. There's still a lot of diehard fans though. Like I can see them
waiting.
Yeah.
I think Armored Core was up there. Like the last Armored Core was a good fucking while ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. I guess you could make the argument that.
And they're doing that with fighting games. Like you've seen like resurgence of some old series, and
yeah, it's possible.
Not sure what else.
Yeah, well,
I'll
live in hope. But 2029 is like 5 years from now. I'll be in my
don't say that.
mid to late 30s. Maybe I still want to play Mass Effect. If the podcast is still going, then I'll let you know if I buy it.
Fuck this guy. Like, he thinking there's like some sort of magical switch that flips when you hit 30 and you don't play video games anymore. Like,
yeah, it's not.
Fuck that guy.
I hate this guy. What's his name?
James Truckton. How dare you? How dare you be so young and full of life? No, I'm sure he's great. I'm just jealous that he's so young. He was 16 when Andromeda came out. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Probably thought the game was good. Chris and Luke, thank you very much. That's all we have for the main show. If people are still interested in what other news is out there, we'll be doing a quick little post show with a couple other bits and pieces, including a Daredevil game for PS2 that was never launched but recently leaked, I should say.
Speaking of news that just like... Why are they even announcing that?
Because someone found it, and that's what I love. We've also got information about Jet Force Gemini, and what else have I got here on the list?
I hope it's still PS2 styled graphics.
Yeah. And updates on Elden Ring, all in the post show. And if you're interested in that, you can check out patreon.com/The Gift of Gaming to find all the extra content there. Luke and Chris, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. And to our listeners, until next time, and as always, keep enjoying the gift that is gaming. Peace out.